Hey everyone, welcome back to the MatMadik channel. Alright, we're back. We got the sound fixed, and I just did a reaction to Voice Play's rendition of the Jack Black Peaches song for the Mario movie. Check out my reaction to that. I was blown away. Alright people, let's get down to business. What we got today? We got ourselves Brandon Hart featuring Tom MacDonald, Space Trash. I'm looking forward to this song, of course, because this is another song that was overdue on my to-do list. But I got things sorted out. So without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, alright, I was gonna say they're not in the same bed together, are they? Anyway.
What if the big one came and turned the clocks back? I bet we leave some pretty good space trash. Whole thing gone in a minute flat. No more Starbucks, no more big bags, no more strip malls, just a black hole. No more blue rock that we call home. No more governments, no more politics, no more fake news, no more arguing. Oh, whoa, whoa, we look up.
Sorry, I should have paused it a while ago to focus on his lyrics in his verse, and to avoid a copyright claim. But oh well, I'm not too bothered about that. I'm all about you guys. So, excuse me. So what are we dealing with here? Who is this Brandon Hart? I must say, people, sorry I'm late to the game, but he seems to be one of those deep thinkers like Tom MacDonald also. But I don't know. It's hypothesis he's posing that if the Earth were to suddenly be revoked by God, as he seems to be painting a picture of, we suddenly realize that we've been bickering over petty, insignificant things. Yet I always feel that it's the little things that make the big experience seem so impressive. But that being said, I understand where he's coming from. We've definitely become distracted in the Western world with a lot of matters that are definite distractions to more pressing calamities that ought to be taking the forefront of our attention. Let's see where he's going with this.
And my God, what have we done? We wasted the best thing we ever had on the vision and made up facts. When it's gone, we don't get it back. Be remembered on how we act. Space trash.
Interesting. So you know me. I'm gonna get back to my roots when it comes to discussing political matters and giving social commentary. I'm all about traditionalism, a bit like Dr. Steve Turley. Versus modernism. It's interesting the division and made up fads that have consumed a lot of our waking hours and just general attention. It feels like mind bait to keep people, or a proverbial carrot on a stick to keep people trotting along to keep the earth spinning, if you will. Although the earth, which is silly because the earth spins on its own accord. But at the same time, I understand the value of taking the reins, if you will, and making the most of what would be a distraction, turning it into a weapon. For instance, you know me when it comes to the hopefulness I have for the future in the face of what appears to be AI that some people fear is poised to eradicate humanity largely. I think that's impossible. Memeology, this is, if not already being studied in universities, it shall be definitely from this point forward, because there's something that machines cannot replicate. Just the logical mind point of view, even our egos versus what our intuition poses, and that is nuance. The nuance that we can convey through images, the in-jokes we have, that humor, that ability to identify love yet not be able to describe it, pinpoint it to one exact thing. These elements that we have to express ourselves so freely is the greatest weapon that we have to protect ourselves from the machine that wants us all to become homogenized and singularized, against our will. So while all of what we're carrying on with seems to be a pointless distraction, with these camps or these tribes that we're forming in the name of politics, I also believe it's our greatest asset to preserving our humanity in this rapidly homogenizing effort of the deep state that is trying to strip us of our individuality. What do you think, people? That's my philosophical take on the matter. All right, verse 2.
What if the big one came and turned the clocks back? I bet we'd do anything to stop that. Whole world strong, we try to fight back. We probably do a little more than a hashtag. How about we get the best from our planet and send a group to the moon to diffuse all the panic and the views of the truth until we don't understand it? How about we do a little more than we're actually planning? It's just a bunch of scrap metal that we kill each other for. And your newest iPhone won't matter anymore.
Our phones won't matter anymore. Again, I believe in the butterfly effect, that everything, as silly as it seems, is for serves a greater purpose. All the things that we are, again, like I was just describing in my long monologue, all the things that we are obsessed with, almost like a kid excited about a new toy. And I'm one to talk, man. I'm still excited about my good old classic toys to this day, namely, good old games. But all the things that we seem to be entertaining ourselves with, or entertaining our consciousness with, again, the expressions of our humanity. Without it, everybody likes to say that we're distracted with nonsense. Yes, to an extent. To the extent that these elements are causing us to feel more like enemies with who ought to be our allies, enemies of who ought to be our allies. In that sense, I definitely would say we're using our resources wrongly. But excuse me. On the other hand, I also feel that we are in a very advantageous position to take on the machines with an imagination that cannot be quantified. I just want to throw one other thing in there, just on a little tangent. People like Russell Brand, I think he was saying something along the lines of the human mind can only think of so much, it has a limit. That's actually not true. Computers have limits. That's the whole basis of logic machines. No matter how much information AI or a computer can process, it's bound by the limits of ones and zeros and the capacity of the matter that it deals with. Even the internet that sends information from one machine to the next, it's all based on limitations. The mind actually has no limit, and it is important, I feel, for us to express every little thing that we feel that we ought to. Well, provided we don't hurt anybody. It's beyond what is truly ethical. That's up for debate. But at least for us to see what the imagination can do puts us in a much better position than essentially restricting ourselves, which is like another form of censoring. But what do you think, people? Anyway, drop the hook.
Space trash. When it's gone, we don't get it back.
All right, Tom, bring your verse, man. Now, just letting you know, I'm turning up the volume as loud as it goes on this thing to pick up all the sound, but it's blasting out my ears. So I hope you appreciate this, audience, until I get me some speakers that I can turn it down the sound with.
Only thing I know for sure is that tomorrow isn't promised. Yesterday's forgotten. Tomorrow could be a coffin. It could start out with a coffin spread all over the continent, or be bombs that they drop and they trying to profit from politics. Stop and acknowledge it. Talk before we run out of oxygen. We were all put here to love, but we've been doing the opposite. Tell our kids it's a comet. We know damn well it's a rocket, and we got nowhere to go. We can't escape on a rocket ship, and everybody's different, but we're all made.
I love his verses, man. Tom MacDonald's got to be the best rapper out there, by none, to react to. His verses are so clear, and his every line is impactful. He kind of sums up things very well. Now, listen to all you Tom MacDonald fans out there. Um, and I respect the Hangover Gang army, if you will. I don't feel. It's hard for me to say this and say it'll be take offense because I'm going to say something that may offend you. But sorry, man. Sometimes I can't get over that line that what's that guy's name? What's that guy? Mac Lethal said to Tom MacDonald about. Anyway, I don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying. If you heard the diss record, I was like, anyway, I was like, oh man, I can't be saying hog no more. But anyway, other than that, hey, any word can mean anything. I have no idea. Anyway, but that being said, let's forget that. I just wanted to bring that up there, just let you know that I'll poke fun on my own side sometimes. Anyway, Tom, his bars are great. I like what you're saying. Telling our kids it's a comet when it's really a rocket ship, but we can't escape on a rocket ship when this whole thing starts popping up and shit. It's, as high as the numbers of the coffins get. All right, I'm just adding lines of my own there. Yeah, I like the way that he ties into what one may call a conspiracy theory, tying into theories as of interpreting what we're dealing with. And he's gone a step further than just the basic level that, no offense to Brandon Hart fans, but the level that Brandon Hart went in his verses, this whole imagine thing is that's one thing. But Tom MacDonald is going into actual reasoning, as in to say, when you're dealing with when you're dealing with, how do I put this? There we go. When you're dealing with why this is happening, it's one thing to say, oh look, we're just distracted, we're just fighting ourselves, and yes, it's what Donald's saying, we're of course here to love, but he's saying that we've been pitted against each other. These politicians are actually. He went straight to the went more to the root as of why this is happening. This isn't. People like to think that lazily, which is I feel this is the milk toast. Sorry, Haley McEnany. The milk toast level that Tim Pool tends to give his commentary on, which is kind of like feeling. It's like you're just saying things are bad and you're saying it seemed to be happening by happenstance, but no, this is on purpose, as Dan Bongino would say. They're doing this on purpose. These distractions that we're dealing with, this isn't just a case of us gorging ourselves on some deadly sins. This is an attack that we're dealing with, and we may try to explain it away in ways that satisfy our confirmation bias, but if you don't deal with why this is actually happening, you won't be able to arm yourselves adequately to be able to remedy it. Which is where I kind of trailed off from following people like David Icke, because I noticed that he didn't really have any pragmatic solutions to what he was complaining about. He just said this is wrong, and then when he started to go anti-Trump, I was like, all right, David Icke, thank you very much for alerting me to things as to and being a vessel by which I took heed to not adhere to the mask nonsense and the shot and all that stuff. But thank you very much. You saved me with what you put out there. But that's not enough. You can't just say do not comply and just say, oh look, the world's going crazy, I'm just going to stand here and hope it all blows over. No, you must know what you're dealing with. This is why I keep saying you have to embrace the state that the world is in, the culture in the state that it's in. Tom MacDonald's on TikTok. I won't go there, but you have to understand you've got to meet the enemy on their battlefield and take them on there. And I know it seems like, just even talking about it in terms of enemies is just perpetuating issues that ought not be perpetuated and so on. Yeah, that's not how you ensure your survival, people. I understand the law of attraction and that we get what we put out there and what we resist persists. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the law of assumption, if you will. But anyway, as Kate Jagede would put it. But I put it to you that you don't have to assume that your brother is your enemy. And as the Matrix would put it, if you're not one of us, you're one of them. Fair enough. But you can at least find out what you're dealing with people who may or may not have your best interests at heart, as to protect yourself. It's like the First and Second Amendment. To deal with the world, would somebody to suddenly try and attack you, you'd be prepared for that. but don't be silly and just try and say that and try to throw your hand up and say, "Oh no, the world is all terrible. What have we done?" That's I don't buy with that. Even though like Chris Martin not able to protect the lady who got assaulted, who he was with. Just get. I mean, hey, at least he took a few hits for the lady. But God bless him. If my opinion, if you can't carry guns, carry a stick or something, and clap people around the head. I won't tell you my exact device that I carry. Should I say it? No. Let's just say I'll do a gesture. Anyway, that was weird. What I'm trying to get at people is you got a lot of people like Tom MacDonald and Brandon Hart for at the level that they've expressed it, have brought people's attention to what we ought to be focusing on, which is more unity than division, but also a good set of ideals that we can live by to actually preserve ourselves. More pragmatic steps to preserve ourselves based on actually taking on and having a good old look at the world and seeing what we're dealing with. Is this a world you want to live in? If not, well, then I recommend you subscribe to people like these who propose standing up for something rather than falling for everything. Anyway, people, let's keep going.
The bones, we tear each other apart when we need each other the most. We'll find out what we have in common when the whole world explodes. And nobody's right or wrong, because we're all just be ghosts.
Oh, whoa, whoa, we looked up. And my God, what have we done?
Excuse me.
Wasted the best thing we ever had on the vision that made up facts. When it's gone,
I can't deny it. This guy looks very amusing. But sorry, it's the first time I've seen the guy. But yo, lean into it. I annoy people sometimes when I just give my opinion of how people hit me the first time I see them. And I take it all. I can take it as much as I dish it out. But after I get used to you, then we keep going. Somebody said once I look like a kangaroo. I didn't see them personally, but I'm like, okay, fair enough. After all, we got to know each other. I'm all about First Amendment people. So I mean, that's what I'm exercising by even doing these reactions.
we don't get it back. Be remembered on how we act. Space trash.
And it looks like he's got a lip syncing issue there. But anyway, it's too late, and the song is great.
Space trash. When it's gone, we don't get it back. Space trash. Space trash. When it's gone, we don't get it back.
I gotta say that's a good piece directed by he himself. You know, it's a bit like when Trump was leaving over the first term. On his way out, even though I can't believe he's still operating in the military. On his way out, he was saying a lot of, "If I don't get in, this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen." And it seemed very doomy and gloomy. Obviously, some people are thinking, "No, I should fight to the bitter end, fight to the bitter end." You don't see the big picture. This whole thing's a fantastic sting operation playing out, but it's important that we, excuse me, my apologies. We alert people to the dangers of what can happen when you do not take heed to words of wisdom. But it's also important that you push out words of wisdom, which is why, just to repeat what I said about David, why I stop subscribing to people like David. So when I say stop subscribing, I don't, it's not like an unsubscribe button I press, or I just don't check out his stuff. When I started to notice that a lot of what he says is a lot of warnings with no pragmatic solution. People like Tom MacDonald and Brandon Hart, this song may be a warning song, but they've got a lot more calls to action songs that actually can save us in the process. But let me know what you think, people. That's my reaction. And I've rambled along for a long time. So let me know what you think, people. Catch you next time. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll keep it going. Keep it rocking, baby.